Reorganization is the first thing on the agenda,
Uh-huh.
so we should probably, right? Does it matter?
I don't think it does.
Does it?
I nominate Tom Horgan to be our chair.
I'll second that.
Any other nominations?
No,
Well, that's what you're supposed to ask. All those in favor?
I
So then you need to do vice chair.
I
and
nominate Gavin Ryan to be our vice chair.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And then clerk.
I nominate David Pearson to be our clerk.
And I'll second that.
Just a note of clarification, it's person.
That's what I was, thank you. I was rehearsing that, thank you. Person.
That's what
All those in
happens when you
favor?
show up for a meeting.
Aye.
They can volunteer.
Aye. Yeah.
Okay. So, that's this.
That's it. That's
Got this. You got
Just
this.
one little formal thing, before we start with our special guests. I just want to make sure, Kathy and I discussed, I don't think I technically met the 48-hour notice for the change that
Correct.
Melissa was able, so I want to make a amendment to the agenda to include the sale of the 4 properties that we talked about at town meeting, 169 Sherman Street, North Road, 277 Barrel Wild, 1175 Roman Road, just for, formally place that on the agenda.
And then you would make a motion to approve the amended agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended agenda.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So with that in mind, anytime you have an adjustment to the agenda, I need it probably Thursday in order to get it to Kathy for Friday to meet the 48 hours.
Thank you.
Okay. So we can have our guests now?
Yeah, that's it.
Alrighty, so I'm Susan Kesmet, I know that you guys know me from the school.
You can come up and sit down, we won't bite.
So I'm on the board of trustees of the library, and we recently had one of our board members step down after a whole bunch of years. Peter Burns resigned. He was the treasurer for the board, and so we kind of put out a call to volunteers to step up to be considered for the appointment to fulfill Peter's term, which is for another full year. We actually had several people that were interested, but didn't really kind of follow through. We interviewed, this is Jeffrey Pack, we interviewed Jeffrey, and we'd like to present him to the board for appointment. Jeffrey's from Fairfield now, teacher in Fletcher.
In Fletcher, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, good.
And we think he'd be a fantastic trustee for the board, or board director for the board.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
How do you spell it? P-A-C?
Yep. And my first name's actually with a G.
GEOA.
Free. Yeah.
R-E-Y or R-Y?
R-E-Y.
Thank you.
What grade do you teach?
I work with 5th and 6th graders as an interventionist.
Nice.
In Fletcher.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Fletcher is so small that I tend to wear a lot of hats in addition to that.
You have a lot of tech experience.
Yep, I'm the IT guy,
Wow.
testing coordinator.
Do you need a motion? Do you need a formal motion?
Well, actually, you guys are the ones that need to appoint them, so I'd like
Okay,
to.
I make a motion that we appoint 3-year term, 2-year term, 3?
Finish.
Oh, finish.
Yeah, to
Peter's term?
Peter's term, which is for another full year.
Okay. Jeffrey Pack for the remainder of Peter Burns' term for trustee for the library.
I'll second that.
Any other nominations? All those in favor?
Aye.
That was easy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeffrey, is it Jeff or Jeffrey?
I do either, but most people call me Jeff.
Okay, so Jeff is also a fairly new homeowner in Fairfield, right? You guys-
Welcome, where do you live?
At the top of Buck Hollow in the old schoolhouse.
Oh, nice,
Can't escape school.
I guess not.
Welcome.
Glad to be here.
So I know that there's a old schoolhouse at the bottom of Buck Hollow, but there's
Or
another
in
one.
Buck Hollow and South.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're thinking the one in Fairfax, right?
Buck Hollow and South.
Oh, he's thinking
Grade.
the one down at the bottom of the
Okay,
hill.
okay, yeah.
It's
the
right
one
on
at
the
bottom of the hill, yeah.
South Road in Buck Hollow.
Yep.
Okay.
My address is technically South
You
Road.
said top, I was
Yeah.
heading up further, but.
There's another one.
There is another one up further.
Well, you gotta check out,
Actually, there is.
check out Linda's desk, she's got a map of all the old schoolhouses in town, it's shocking,
Cool.
crazy.
I think we actually have one at the library.
I did see one there, yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, talk about consolidation, right?
Yeah.
Where'd you move from?
So I used to live in St. Albans for almost 10 years, sold my house and rented for a couple of years in Winooski. My partner was working down there, so it was a little closer for him. But I wanted to be back up here and closer to my work and
Good for you
out
for
of
jumping
that
right back
busyness.
into the municipal world of our
Yeah.
town. Thank you.
Exactly.
That's very kind.
I'm
Awesome.
excited.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Good
Have a
luck.
nice evening, you two.
Thank you, have a good night.
You too?
You're welcome to stay if you want, you don't have to leave.
Probably will.
Oh, shucks.
Look at you, Dave.
Any other members of the public? No, there's nobody here, right?
Nope.
Morse, go ahead.
I'm trying to look at hardly names. Tim Ovrat, John Deere salesman. He came today, because we've been talking about that grader. And he looked at it and took pictures and he's supposed to come up with some numbers where
That's good.
you guys will have an idea.
Yeah.
And, right now he talks, we take the wing and, the wing and put it on, if we do purchase a new grader, take that off, put it on the new grader. And, Scaffold is in front. He said it'll fit on the new grader.
Gonna look at anything else?
What's that?
Gonna look at any other kind or no?
We can, I mean, it's, you can get hold of Cat, have him, so call it. Have them better, no different numbers run with too.
Or is that for like a new grader or
Yeah.
new one?
Yeah.
Do we typically buy new for graders?
No, that was
That was a demo.
demo, right? I think it was 250 if you're around.
Is there a certain size that you guys, apples to apples, are going by?
Yeah, well, this one here is a 672.
672?
You wouldn't want anything any smaller.
No.
Scraping is hard.
This one got the 14-foot mole bar. And the horsepower behind it to, you know, like you said, they work when they're out there.
Yeah.
It'll be out tomorrow. A couple places will get a little soft. Get ahead of the, you know.
Does that have front wheel drive or just the two?
Yes.
Does that six?
Yep.
So I thought,
Yep.
tilt wheels do work.
You gonna put stone in those soft spots
Yeah.
from over here,
No, actually, I was swanting, the number 2P, the white, the
Yeah.
stone.
Has a little dust in it, just packs a little better.
Yeah.
They're working on down there, trying to get it,
Something.
oh, better, yeah.
Yeah.
More fines in it, so.
Yeah.
Louis Arcus, they're working on that?
Yeah, Bobo's,
Oh,
yeah.
that'd be good.
Yeah, it would be.
It'd be good if they collaborated with you and you could
They
give
probably
them a little
do.
feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get hold of them and.
Give us a discount, we'd be their
I
guinea
said
pig.
you're gonna, like, I think there'll be more per ton, but you gotta break it down more. But it's not the same price as to us, you know.
Mr. Chair, you gotta sit up front.
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're
Those
late.
new crutches these guys, that have anything to do with it?
I think so,
Is it?
yeah.
He's still
They
sick.
must have cost
We
some.
don't want him back
Oh,
yet.
I hate to even think about what.
Anything more in the furnace?
No, I have to sugar. Pretty well, I mentioned one day, asked one day, said, select board like to know, and definitely after sugar. And I said, okay. Never give me a definite date.
Is it here?
I think so. I didn't really get an answer out of him, I guess.
See, I won't see him now.
Yeah.
I have a little thing before Mo leaves, but Mo, I don't wanna step on your toes, are you all set?
He's stepping on mine.
Okay. So last meeting, the select board had requested that I look into getting a meeting set with the District 8 manager, Steve Stanley, along with Tyler Billingsley, to just have a good powwow about what supports they offer, what they think about some of the projects we're mulling over. And Tyler was on vacation, I heard from him yesterday, and so Steve wants to do this not in the evening. He's not available in the evening. So I wanted to find out if the select board would like to meet. I have some times that work for both of them. I was wondering if you'd like to have a special meeting scheduled to meet with the two of them, and if any of the times work. So, do you want me to throw them out there and see what you think? So the earliest one is this Wednesday at 10 a.m. The other ones are not for a couple weeks, so the next options are Tuesday the 25th or Thursday the 27th between 9 and 2, or Friday the 28th between 9 and noon. So I was just curious if any of those times work for you guys.
Tuesday the 25th, and what was the other one?
Tuesday the 25th or Thursday the 27th from 9 to 2. Sometime during that window. Or Friday the 28th from 9 to noon during that window.
25th and 27th is too far out. Wednesday it's supposed to be cold, I might be able to make that one.
Yeah, it's cold Wednesday.
Won't be able to play pickleball, but that's okay.
He's wrong.
Wednesday's the only one I could come to.
So does Wednesday at 10, I can confirm that with him.
Yeah.
Just call Gavin or
Oh,
something,
yeah,
just to
we'll
let
give him a call.
can't text him.
Okay. So I'll post that as a special meeting, and I'll see you at 10 on Wednesday. Mo, did you want to come to that?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I'll forget. Wait, Linda, I'll forget.
You
Five, seven,
want me
okay.
to text you in the morning?
Me too.
You don't text?
Yeah, you can text me.
He just doesn't answer.
You can text his wife and just let him know.
Oh, no.
No,
No,
you don't wanna do that.
no.
He does get his messages, he just doesn't answer.
Don't text.
I know, it's fun. I know
But
you
he
get
reads,
them.
but he reads.
I can read once in a while.
Okay. We'll remind you. Okay, I'll set a reminder right now. How much warning do you want?
Just that.
What do we
Like
have?
at 8 o'clock?
Engineer guy.
Huh?
At 8 o'clock?
Yeah,
Or 5 o'clock, or 4 o'clock.
anytime after 5.
That's the only thing I have for roads.
The signs for the parking lots got ordered. Those poles to put them on?
Yeah.
Okay, good, I didn't order those. So if they show up to you, you'll know there's 2 for here, 1 for there,
Out front?
yeah. They say no more than 3 days parking consecutive and no overnight parking during snow. So I would assume they'll go right to you and the bill should come right to you. They didn't even ask me, they just said, okay, we'll send them.
So 2 for out here, 1 by,
2 back here,
1 by the main road, and where's the other one going?
I don't know, 4 on the back wall where most cars park probably. Would be my thought.
Yeah,
And we probably only need 1 out here,
just where they pull in,
I would think.
right by the corner of the garden.
Okay,
You know, then they can put it in the garden,
there you go,
and you don't have to go through the blacktop.
good idea. I don't have any other things.
Anything else, Morris?
No, well, they're supposed to start on their new truck today, but I don't know if they did or didn't. That was a month ago, they told me that, March 10th, the day March 10th. It was tentative. I ain't heard nothing. So. Got nothing else.
I have these that need to be signed for the last 2 grand lists. We didn't have any appeals on the 24, but the 23, that appeal is over, so, select board needs to sign both of them. We got Jamie Tibbetts resigned from solid waste. So she tendered her resignation for that. I have 2 quotes for the flooring in the office, and also they do include putting new flooring in the front, in the foyer, because if you've noticed, it's pretty nasty, and when you're the first one in the office in the morning, it's pretty nasty.
A lot of traffic.
Yeah, so the Newtons, it's carpet for out there, but it's a waterproof carpet, and then vinyl plank for the office and the vault. And Newtons came in at $9,027. And Sticks and Stuff came in at $12,016.62.
That's labor, that's everything.
That's everything.
Is that moving furniture around?
No, that's the other deal.
Okay.
I've been moving stuff, and the thing is, I don't know how soon we can do it, but whether or not the guys are, we're probably gonna have to hire people to move stuff.
Yeah.
Everything, we'll do the vault one day, and everything go back in that night, and then my office,
In the vault downstairs, pain in the ass to move it all, but
we're not putting it all downstairs. I've got a plan in my head.
good for you.
I moved a lot of stuff downstairs, but, anyway, in my desk, because of, we'd have to have our IT guy come and put it back together. I ordered some, dollies to put it on so we can roll it around. But anyway, I was hoping to be able to go with Newton's, actually.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
I can let them know. And Pat, I talked to Pat extensively about what was what. He was be able to work around stuff. So anyway, I'll have to see how soon they can do it, and I don't know. I mean, there's stuff in the office that can be moved. It doesn't need to be in the office if they have any time, but I don't know if they have any time to be moving furniture. So it's okay that I let Newtons know they got the bid?
Good with me.
Yeah, they got the bid, get it done,
Okay,
in the budget.
Does that need a motion?
I don't know, I got the 2 bids.
No, it's just a review of the bids.
Okay.
You wanna review the bids? And then, Tim Hawkins isn't doing tax sales anymore. He told me Von Como Any thoughts? I reached out to Vaughn, but it was later in the afternoon and I hadn't got a call back.
So
If he-
these tax papers don't need a name on them, you just go by the page number.
Right.
Is he C-O-M-E-A-U? Como?
C-O-M-E-A-U.
Thank you,
Pretty sure.
thank you.
It's harder and harder to do tax sales, people, you know, the rules, sort of like anything else, doesn't matter who's not paying their bills, they're the ones that get all the help, you know, protection, so it's a lot to do it these days,
So
so.
it's that guy from St. Albans,
No, Enosburg,
Enosburg.
Yeah.
Enosburg, so,
Judge in St. Albans.
yeah, he's the probate judge.
He was, he's not anymore, is he?
I don't know,
No,
he was a probate judge.
no,
but-
he didn't win the last time.
So, anyway, once I make sure he's on board to take us on, I'll have to have a motion to put in the minutes like I normally do regarding lawyers and tax sales, but,
There's no tax sales up.
well, I have a couple properties that should be, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so.
I like Vaughn, but what about our lawyer, what regular town lawyer?
Well, Jim Barlow wouldn't do them back
No.
when he was doing them, and they don't make any money at it.
Yeah,
So that's why it's hard to find people that do it.
oh, okay,
It's limited what they're, you know, can make, and basically it's a lot of paperwork for a little bit of return.
yeah,
You know, because the town doesn't want to have to pay the lawyer to do it. They want to, you know, the tax sale should pay the lawyer's fees.
right, yeah.
That's so. Anyway, I think that's all I got. You signed the minutes, we got the that. And I just need those papers back once they're signed, so I can put them with the grand
Minutes
list.
and grand list he signed?
Yeah, Tom as chair
Signed the minutes and the grand list.
signed the minutes
Thank you, I didn't hear you say minute.
for the,
Thank you,
town meeting.
got it.
Have you talked to the new Sheldon town clerk?
No, but I thought Wednesday, that when I got done, because they work late on Wednesday, I would go over and introduce
Yeah,
myself.
that'd be good.
Do you know her?
Not really, no, no.
I don't,
Did you ask Demetrius?
about,
Her? You should know her.
I would assume he would know her.
Who's the one?
Frank Lanza's daughter, right?
I don't know, I mean,
Who'd you say it was?
Frank Lanza's daughter, I think it is. Yeah. I guess a really smart person, but I don't know her at all, so I don't know.
Unopposed, or she won out of an election?
unopposed. Yeah, because Kim retired,
Oh,
yeah.
They actually had on their agenda, if nobody was nominated, to change it to an appointment, but they didn't have to do that.
good.
So she went in the landslide.
So, okay, any questions? No?
So the tax sale, I'm hesitant to ask, but you said we just signed 2 documents.
This has to do with the grand list.
Okay.
That's
So-
just-
So you're gonna come back to us on the tax sale? Because we're gonna initiate sale of 4 properties, 2 of which are a tax sale.
You were acquired during a tax sale, yeah.
Right, acquired.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the second,
This
we're at the
is-
second phase from,
We haven't had a tax sale for a couple years, but there's one property that, if you look at your town report, is in for how many years now? Because,
okay, so
It's-
what I'm asking is, so after you go through that process, then it becomes the town's?
no, only if nobody else bids on it. and the
Okay.
town bids on it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
If you wanna go to the auction and bid on it, you can.
Yeah,
No, what I'm saying is, what's the difference between the two properties that we have as a result of tax sale? No one bid on them? There was-
yes, that's how, yeah. What happens, back in the day, not so much anymore because of all the hoops of tax sales, but someone from the town would be here in case nobody outside the town wanted the property, so the town would bid on it.
Okay,
Yeah, and that's how they got it, but these are usually properties, I would assume that the town got a tax sale, were properties nobody wanted.
okay.
So that's how the fall.
Or somebody put a low bid and give it back to them.
Yeah, and the two properties right now that I'm considering are properties people would want,
Okay,
one especially.
It would make sense for the timing of the 4 and then the other 2 to be staggered somehow,
They're not anything to do with each other.
just in terms of noticing, so it's not.
No,
No, it
no,
doesn't.
would confuse it even more if it was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
They're two different entities.
Okay.
Totally different. And at a tax sale, the property is not the person who buys it for a year and a day.
Right.
Whoever loses the property at a tax sale has a year and a day to redeem it. So it's not like you walk away and you can go move into somebody's house because you just bought it at a tax sale. It doesn't work that way,
Yeah.
so.
good, thank you. Hey, I approve make a motion, we approve the minutes from 24 February.
I'll second that. I will.
He's
Any
saying,
other areas of commission?
this
I haven't read them yet. All those in favor?
Aye.
So, my report is inclusive of the banking and purchasing policy revision. The one thing I do want to say before we get into that though is that, in May, Memorial Day is a Monday of the select board meeting, and I'd like to propose that we go with Tuesday, the 27th. I would like to take a vacation Friday, May 16th to May 26th for graduation and visiting my son. So I was wondering if you wanted to reschedule that Memorial Day Monday to
yeah,
the Tuesday.
that makes sense, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And then I'm waiting on Tyler for a quote for the North Road, and Sarah Courier completed her paperwork. But that's based, and then Tim Smith, the Executive Director of Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation, wants to meet with the select board. I guess that he does this with all the select boards once in a while, and he'd like to come to our next meeting. So that's
He
that.
always comes once a year.
So the banking and the purchasing policy revision related a little bit, in that both will require me to change the procedures, the banking and our procedures controls, but we can get into it the way it's listed. So banking, Amanda's not here, she couldn't make it. She does have a recommendation, but I wanted to also let you know, not sure how much you want to jump in, the 2 select board members who've been on this too.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, right? There's a better option for a checking account. It's no brainer, really.
So that, and also, it became clear that nobody, so I've not been looking at rates for CDs it's just not written anywhere it's not in our procedures, it's not something I've been doing. And Amanda also hasn't been doing that. So she and I both think that it makes sense for me to be doing that on a regular basis, and I wanted to, or if you want to do it on a regular basis, we should make sure that there's something written, and we're really careful about the controls, who's responsible for what when it comes to money and banking. So I just wanted to ask the select board whether, you know, they have a preference for how often you want us to look at the rates, who would initiate it, things like that.
Don't they change every year?
every month.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, that should be an administrative, you open it up, you look at it. If there's a question about how long we put it in for, bring it to the next meeting, but that should be
yeah,
part of
but,
the town year.
but if you have it for a year, it should be a set rate for a year, right? Unless it's
Right,
flexible.
Right, once you lock it in, it stays at that rate.
Yeah, so whenever they're up for renewal would be the time to talk about it, you know. See what the rate's gonna be and what they, you know, is going up or down, and then we could,
So a lot of them are monthly,
These are monthly, yeah, so we have to do it
so we'd have to
monthly.
do it every month. Does that sound right to you guys?
Well, it depends. There's some that we put in for a month rate until we had this discussion. But generally, CDs aren't always available for 1 month terms. So we're gonna look at it and say, do we need the truck fund money in a month, or do we need it in 6 months or in a year? And plan where to go with it, but also look at the rate. Right now, you can get a better rate at 6 months than you can at 2 years, so.
Yeah, I would say, you know, I would say whenever there's a opportunity or an obligation to make an investment, bring it to the board
Okay.
and say,
yeah, I mean, if it's a 6-month deal and you needed two, then
right,
you end
yeah,
up- you
and
need
share,
to-
and share that
you end
decision
up-
with us, so you
If
don't
you
feel.
end up needing it in 2 months, you just take a little penalty and still you're
Right.
better off ahead.
Right, you get the notice in about 10 days, 10 or 14 days to make the decision. So if need be, bring it to us every other meeting.
Yeah, when in doubt, bring it to us.
Okay, so we have 10 CDs, a lot of them are going in as 1 month right now until we make the decision. And we do need a motion to move the checking, current sweep and CDs into the IntraFi, which is the new product that would serve the town better. And then once that motion is made.
I'll make that motion.
We'll sign the paperwork.
Yeah, I'll second it. That's from Amanda, so.
Recommendation.
What's it called?
IntraFi, INTRAFI, and it's still with People's Trust,
INTRAFI.
capital F-I, yeah.
Yeah, I'll make the motion, Ron seconded, and thank you to David, Ron, and Kathy, and sounds like Amanda's involved too. Thank you for researching that.
We had a good discussion with Amanda, and I talked to her a couple times.
Good,
Yeah.
She's,
good.
Who
So,
from the bank? Who'd you talk to from the bank?
your nephew and the two ladies we talked to, I forget what their names were.
yeah. I have to look it up.
Here, we want to vote?
Yeah, so there's a motion made and a second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
thank you. So regarding the purchasing policy, the select board had asked me to do some research, so I'm gonna give you the research and then, just something to discuss, in terms of like the beginning of a draft, of changes, so. So regarding the purchasing policy, there were, let me get this out and then I can focus.
I turn this off. Nobody's waiting.
Thank you.
Nobody's
Sure.
waiting.
Oh. All right, so, notes here. So, I looked at, so I heard back from Swanton about Fairfax, the village and town of Swanton, two different purchasing policies, Highgate, Sheldon, and Enosburg Village. So, and then I also looked at the VLCT, they have a new purchasing policy from the one that we had originally modeled after from 2010. So, the thing about our purchasing policy and the new ones that are out there is that the new ones provide sort of instruction to staff regarding incidentals and minor purchases. We can revise, it also provides more control to the select board regarding purchases. You can increase, absolutely increase the levels that you want to increase. And I wanted to just present the draft wording to you tonight too. I think, so this is copied and pasted from the VLCT draft, and it includes just different levels of purchases. That it also appoints who's like the purchasing authority agents for the municipality, and how they would, at what point they communicate what to whom. So, according to, so what this does is it defines the purchasing agents who are responsible for the purchasing. It talks about incidental purchases, which are, limited to the budgeted amount annually. There's no real need to get involved with the select board. Minor purchases, which is when you just may want to connect with, like for example, this $8,000 purchase of floors, you might want to connect with a staff person about a big purchase. But again, quotes are not, like competitive quotes are not required, but it's encouraged. Major purchases are, with the select board. That's the level where you all make a decision with staff about whether or not that's gonna happen. And then you would set a rate for the quotations, the number, like if you, for example, if you wanted to do like 15,000 to 50,000 price range for getting 2 quotes, that would be the major purchase. So you would get 2 to 3 quotes, and it would be done in concert with the select board. And then large purchases are a number value where you follow the sealed bid process. This also includes information about federal money. So there are some, like the Davis-Bacon Act looks out for workers who are hired by contractors, and just some language about the fact that some of this stuff is not, it's not going to hold water with the federal government. So for the federal grant, it's better to make sure that it's clear in our policy. So I do have some suggestions for numbers, but I just wanted to ask the select board if they wanted to have a conversation about that.
Like the Swanton Town policy, is that's all, that's their policy, just that's it?
I didn't bring the entire policies.
Okay.
I
That's
only
okay.
asked them the 2 rates. You had asked about the purchase
Okay, okay.
authorization rate and the bid rate.
Yeah.
So I asked them what their processes are. And, they all, except for Fairfax, feel that it's time to revise. So they're all everybody's sort of thinking about this right now.
I think this is great. It's a great research. I'd like to table it to the next meeting. I'd like to read it.
Okay.
That's my own opinion. I don't have any questions. I'd like to sit and quiet and read it and think about it.
I'll second that,
I want to table it for,
yeah.
it's great. It's great research.
Thank you. So again, I'm getting a bid for our culvert from one person right now. It's not a closed bid process, and as it's written right now in our purchasing policy, we would want to do 2 estimates for that project.
Yeah.
If we decide that we want to wait and kind of solicit those bids at after the next meeting, we can do that.
Well, is there anyone else you can get a quote for that culvert? Oh, we don't need a policy for that, right? We have a policy
Right.
in place, right?
Right.
So which culvert? South?
So it's the north road on the corner, just after Parity. So there's another 20-foot dip. And we have a $21,000 grant to do engineering of that. So we need to get estimates for the actual cost of what it would take for that.
Yeah, it depends what they're gonna put in, right?
Right.
They're gonna put a box, I'm sure they'll put a box and the
Yeah.
steel culvert.
It's just so, it's so
It'd be
similar.
oversized.
Yeah, it's so similar to the
But you're
other
getting
North
quotes
Road.
just for the engineering, right?
It's just for the engineering, and it's not the engineering into the construction phase, it's just the engineering to get all the documents and plans in place.
Yeah, get the engineering started, you know.
Okay. All right,
If
okay.
you're gonna get two quotes and be done with it.
Okay.
I like Tyler.
Yeah, well, and that's why I wanna read this, Brian said, how do we fit that in?
Yeah.
Because
Why
Tyler
you-
should be no different than our lawyer, right? What's the difference between working with a lawyer?
Good point.
It's the last page, you have it in here. The recurring purchases number is 10,000, so that should be increased. And the professional services doesn't have an amount attached to it, but you can, if it's in your judgment that there's one professional who it makes sense, is characterized by a high degree of judgment and discretion.
And say, I thought it used to be quoted at the discretion of the select board. They can, you know, you don't always have to take the lowest
Yeah, it'd
bid.
be almost like IT or, you know,
Yeah, it is legal, financial, auditing, engineering, risk management, and insurance services.
good.
But that's the bid process, so we would wanna just clarify, I think it's,
Are we clarifying, or are we making things more complicated?
That's
Like,
kind of where I
this
was.
is, yeah, we're making rules for ourselves that are costing us money. Just wanna make sure that we're,
Well, let's think about that.
yeah.
But
No,
in the meantime, we're not gonna hold up that selection for the engineering, right?
Right.
We'll-
no.
And we're required 2 bids by our policy or by that grant?
When you're in the middle.
So it's two estimates, it's not a bid, so the bid process is a whole separate thing.
Right.
We should get 2 estimates and clarify that we don't.
Well, as I recall, our policy says we should, for a certain dollar amount, get 2 estimates.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't get 2 estimates, sometimes we try, so
Right,
we do our
best.
best.
Yeah,
So that's what we'll do.
I'll do that.
But for those reasons that Dave just stated, let's just, this is a great thing for us to think,
Yeah.
read, and come back.
And other than that, I mean, town meeting happened, we're kind of in a good place with, other things. I'll work with Brian to get our properties posted. Do you wanna talk about?
If, what's the update on the environment, is that a executive session?
I did not do it in executive session in the planning meeting.
Okay,
The only update I have is the schedule was submitted to the court. It does no longer include mediation because the interested parties.
parties,
Parties declined to participate in either the mediation talks themselves or paying for the mediation, which is part of the deal. You have to pay for it
oh,
and participate. 2 of the parties, one of the parties in particular, and then someone else said, yeah, me too, said that they would not participate in the mediation, but they wanted the right to refuse to accept the end result of the mediation. So the lawyer on the other side said, that's not actually how mediation works. And they said, well, that's where we're at. So there's not gonna be a mediation, and they said we should be prepped that the thing will go to trial probably at the beginning of June. They're trying to get it a little sooner than that, but we'll see.
How many parties? Are there 2 parties or are there
3.
3 parties? Okay. Formally, there's formally 3 parties.
I believe there are formally 3 parties. One
Okay.
of them had discussions in a mediation style talk with the lawyer. And we haven't seen them present something that would maybe make everyone happy. The other 2 parties said, we don't want to talk, we just want the right to veto whatever you decide.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the update.
It's having a cake and eat it too, sort of like, ain't it?
Exactly, and that's what the other lawyer said. He said that's not how mediation works. We're not going to spend time and money to mediate and then have you come in and say, no, I don't like that.
Right.
So if you don't want to participate, they did say, oh, well, we'll be available by phone, but he declined.
Thank you. So on this properties, there was just a couple things that I think the board needs to kind of, I think we should make a motion, make a motion and have an agreement on a couple details for the sale. And since I think this is, for our board, this is the new territory for us, we just try to be methodical about this. So state statute is pretty clear. And what it says is, and Kathy's gonna do this, and it's gonna be easy. We're gonna make a notice like we do on, I think it says 5 or whatever.
Yeah, it's very much like doing an ordinance where you notice, I think it's like 5 weeks.
Well, you
after-
have like 4 locations, so you got that. And then in that notice, we're gonna have the description of the properties. And for the record, I'll say it just for the minutes, once again, 169 Sherman Road, a landmark parcel on North Road. It's a forest parcel on Black Creek. And a parcel at 277 Berrywild Road and 1175 Romar Road. And so Kathy will have those descriptions, parcel size and location, and the parcel number from the map, so that's straightforward. So there's a couple different ways to do it by state statute. There's 3 different ways to do it by state statute. It's my opinion, subject to the board's opinion, is that we should do it like we do the other, like a paving contract. Instead of having a live auction, or instead of us doing, they said like a conservation, there's another option, but I think we should just do give 60 days notice and give them a deadline, 1 May, and say we'll accept and we'll open up at a meeting. So that's the first question I think the board should feel good about have a consensus that we should do it by sealed bids, just receive a bid, as opposed to a live auction.
Yeah, I agree with that. But go ahead.
Why wouldn't you do an auction, I guess, what's the downside?
I don't know how to facilitate, I think it sounds like it costs money to, we'd hire somebody to do the auction, they show you can do it, a government website where they can do like equipment auction online. We could do that. It just started getting,
Yeah, I like the sealed bid part, but I would like to have the right for the town to refuse the bid.
okay, so that's the first question is the consensus on a sealed bid. If you want to research there's like a live auction, I just thought, it's like simplicity, but.
Yeah, I'm wondering,
So my personal objective for this isn't necessarily the proceeds, it's getting back on the grand list to generate revenue.
yeah,
Because 2 of the properties, we're gonna get, theoretically, we're gonna get some revenue, we're gonna get some, but the other 2, by the time they go through the tax, obligation to the previous owner, I don't know, but if if we wanna.
no, the simplicity part of it makes sense,
I think-
have any thoughts?
No, I mean, Gets you cut and simple, it just makes it, you know, like you say, if you get the right to refuse it, it's too low, so
Right, yeah.
then you can,
Right, we gotta set a minimum bid.
Can we send?
Yeah, okay, so the first thing, if we're a consensus that we'll go sealed bid and we'll give 60 days, we could give 90 days, but 60 days. And then the
60,
next
yeah.
question is, do you wanna have a minimum bid? And if so, you know, we could do it 40% of the appraised value, you know, like minimum bid, say if some of those properties are $60,000, $65,000, $70,000, you wanna say like 30% of the, is there a number that,
I would think you'd want higher, I think you'd
50%?
want at least over 50 at least, you know, do 60, 75%.
50%, minimum bid, 50% of
Yeah.
appraised value? I don't have an opinion, I
Well, I'm
just,
just saying, if you have it too low, you're just giving it away, so.
in worst case, we just rebid it, re-advertise it, right?
I would say you want it above 50%.
Okay, does that make sense?
Can I ask a
Yeah,
question?
Yeah.
If somebody were to buy it for 50% of the appraised value, does that affect its value on the grand list?
No.
No.
No, okay.
The only thing that is, we have to figure out with the lawyer is how much money goes toward, the taxes.
Okay, so here, just let
So go
me
ahead.
get
Yeah,
to
go
that,
ahead.
is if, what I'm proposing is, our attorney's busy, already shoveled this stuff his way, and he didn't jump at it, so I just said, what we're gonna do is we're gonna, any proceeds, we're gonna put it in an escrow account. We got 60 days to figure out what to do if we do get money, it's gonna, and I think we'd give, let me just say, so, 60 days notice, and then what I would propose in the details of our, is like 30 days to close. Is 30 days are reasonable for, you know, if someone
Probably do
makes,
45, because depending on who you get, it's gonna
okay,
take
45 days to close.
30 days for the bank and the title research.
Okay, so 45 days to close, and here's a question for the board. Do we want to, there's some talk about, they have to submit their ability to pay or some financial, and I don't know if we want to get into all that. I think if we give them 45 days to close, we don't need to do a credit check if they come up with the cash.
I would get too complicated at a time.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It does talk about we could do that,
Yeah.
but, so let's say 45 days to close, and if they don't close, we don't transfer title,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think probably should be like 2 weeks, you have to have a 20% deposit, or 10 days, something like that, anytime you do an auction or whatnot. That way they're serious, otherwise they're gonna get you along for 45 days.
Okay, 2 weeks, 10% non-refundable deposit
Yeah,
of a bid.
Yeah.
And then we're,
Go ahead.
what's that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think those are reasonable. I think that's the terms. I think that those are reasonable terms. And then getting to what Kathy was talking about is, then I think we're getting a resolution before, you know, Joe will have enough time to advise us. 2 of the properties were gifts, the cash is ours, or the town's outright. 2 of the properties were tax sales. We take any proceeds that we receive from the sale of these property, put them in escrow, and we until we sort out what our obligations are to the previous owners, which is, I think we need a legal opinion on that. Because it's kind of, I don't think it's that complicated, but I think we need a little distance on that. I think the board could be self-dealing if it'd be better to have our attorney.
That's one of those things I think would be simple, as long as we know what the tax was. These things were all 100 years ago. We write up a tax bill, and it's gonna offset whatever money is owed.
Right, well, I think it's pretty straightforward, but I think we could do the calculations and just get our attorney to bless it, you know,
Right.
Yeah.
But I, yeah.
yeah.
I wouldn't overthink or worry, cause
Right.
it's not millions of dollars.
It shouldn't be. So, what else? I think that's it.
So let me review. Notice of 60 days, a sealed bid at a minimum of over 50% of the value,
Appraised value on the list, on the parcel card.
appraised value.
And the parcels are really well described. There's deeds, there's the parcel map, there's acreage, there's a lot of information on those properties.
Within 2 weeks, a 10% non-refundable deposit and 45 days till close.
I think I'd do 7 days on the deposit, be short, quick, move if you're serious,
You want a deposit within 7 days?
I think so,
Sure.
7 days.
yep.
And then 45 days to close.
And
Paid in full.
how do we, we do, our zoning administrator is a realtor. I think it would make sense, notwithstanding this public notice that our routine, it might make sense to do a little better job of advertising these things for sale.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't know how to do that the best way, like talk to Robert or talk.
Is that like a conflict of interest to use him as our realtor?
I didn't say that. I didn't say use as a realtor. I'm brainstorming, is there other ways that we could get advertising? In the real estate,
There's 100 different
Yeah, there's a-
marketplace, Craigslist, the picket fence, I mean, there's 1,000.
Yeah, but who's gonna do that, Kathy? You know,
Most of those places are easy to figure out and do.
they've got, I don't know how it's done, but they get away when you list something, it just goes all the,
Right, if you go through MLS,
MLS,
you
yeah.
go through a license.
There's
Which
also.
means that Robert could do it.
Yeah, but
Well, you could do it as a town employee.
we asked him not to do real estate in.
I know, but in this case, I'd love to solicit his.
I could absolutely have a conversation with him just to
But-
brainstorm. If
On
he wants
my
to do
behalf,
some
if we're gonna hire a realtor, we might as well go with an auction, because a realtor is gonna cost you more. I'm not a fan of realtor.
Yeah, okay, so I'm not suggesting we hire a realtor. I'm suggesting we just have an informal conversation with
Yeah.
our town employee and say, hey, is there some ways? So at a minimum, we'll do what we're required under state law for advertising, that you've already talked about. And if Robert has any other suggestions for you,
Just-
Kathy,
yeah, list
let's
of
just do
places.
that.
Yep,
And see how it goes. If we don't get 50%, we don't sell, right? So if we get, some of those properties I think are pretty nice, but we'll, and the abutting property is Magnum Brothers for the North Road. The abutters are Magnum and Callan. And I think a courtesy call to them to say, hey, just FYI, I think it would be, because it's landlocked parcel. I mean, even splitting the parcel,
Which Callan?
James.
James?
Kathy, could you put that on your
I
list?
have it, yep.
Okay,
So I'll just connect with Robert to have him tell me some places that he knows of.
Yeah.
He knows of places to list, this type of thing, and then connect with them.
yeah, and there's no rush to start the, 60 days. So
Right.
do a little research, take your time, but we've made a lot of announcements about this, so that, we've
We
done.
have interested parties, some people have already called.
Oh, good.
and asked,
Oh, good, good,
how do I get the information?
good,
Well, you wait.
good. Well, good. I think it's good. I think we get some, maybe some new families.
Okay,
Good input.
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for doing it. a lot of legwork.
Yeah, thank you. I've tracked down a lot of stuff.
I have a quick question going back to Linda's announcement about, so this is, Jamie resigned effective immediately, and so this is an appointment that the board has to make. I can put that on, do you want to make that announcement, between the next two meetings and see if we get any?
Sure, that'd be great.
edits? Okay.
Advertise, sure. Are we on new business here?
Yeah, I think we're,
Planning grant?
Oh, yeah, thanks. You'll hear more detail up and coming, but Greta called me last week and asked me if the planning commission would approve the common school group of people, whatever they're called, applying for a planning grant in order to further their plan. And I said, well, I don't think we care, but you'll have to pitch it to the select board. So I just wanted to mention it to you, so you know that
Ron, you know about it?
planning, the planning
He's
and
supposed to have a meeting
zoning
shortly.
are fine with it, but there's a planning grant that's, I think she said, $12,000 maybe?
yeah, it's not a huge one.
It's not a lot. The concern would be, of course, where the match would come from, because it's got a 10, I think it's a 10% match. And I said, put it together and pitch it to the select board. The planning and zoning wouldn't have anything to do with it. She said we would have to support it, and nobody was opposed, so Greta will be putting something together
Okay.
as part of that group, and she will bring it.
So 10% would be 1,200, right?
If it's 12 grand, I don't remember if it's 12 or 16, it'd be less than $2,000. I think it's 10%.
I'm pretty sure it's 10%, and I think it's
there's
12.
isn't there a little money in that fund anyways?
There's
What
money,
fun?
Common school fund.
Yes.
there's money in the common
25,000,
school and the
I
grant
think.
fund, so we could.
We can work with our
we can-
grant writer.
Yeah, you can work with me as
Yeah.
well.
Sure, we
I
look
won't
forward,
have
we look
anything
forward
to do
to
with it.
seeing what you got. And you'll be sitting on the committee, right, Ron?
Yeah.
I make a motion, we approve the warrants.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
That it?
I make a motion, we adjourn. Unless there's something else.
Oh, God.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?